Hello, everybody. It's Marianne Bailey with the Hip Senior Podcast Book Edition. Today, we are talking to Debbie Weiss, who wrote the book Available as Is. Debbie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Marianne. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you being here. So, tell us about your book and why you wrote it.
My book, Available as, is about creating a new life and finding a voice after losing my husband of 32 years. He was my high school sweetheart, and we were together since I was 17.
That's a long
time. It was a long, yes, it's a long time. When he died, I was 49. So yeah, we were together a really long time.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. That was in 2013. And I wrote the book to talk about what it was like to create a new life and figuring out how to live on my own at 40, and also how crazy it was to start dating in the modern age at age 50, about a year after I lost my husband. So I wanted to offer hope to other women, midlife, widowed or divorced, who find themselves on their own after a long marriage, that you can still have a good life.
Okay. That's a fair reason to write that book.
Yeah.
What do you think were some challenges as you went along in this journey with them? You don't have to give away the book, just like what about writing the book?
Things that were challenging was, let's see, I'd never written a book before. I'm a former lawyer. So I used to write like one. So one of the issues definitely was getting the craft level good enough to have it had been published and go out in the world and read like a real book.
Okay.
I went back to school and got a master's of fine arts in writing. I was 56.
Nice.
And I hired a professional editor and put it through many drafts and used it as my thesis. So that was getting the craft level to a professional level. And then the second issue is really putting yourself out there. And as we say in MFA land, more interiority, going deep enough to talk about things in a way that has some universality that will hopefully resonate with people, that isn't just your story. Or a bad date isn't a bad date. What's the lessons learned? What can you impart from that would help other people?
Okay. So I know that this has just been a long journey for you, and with some sweet rewards along the way. And in the end, what is the biggest lesson that you learned from this on a personal level?
From being widowed?
Well, just in the journey since then and writing the book and what became of different things.
Yeah, the biggest lesson I learned is that even after a devastating loss like that, when I lost my husband, we were very close. And again, we'd been together since I was 17. And I thought my life was over without him. And I was thinking about the widow effect, where the surviving spouse doesn't live that long, is that I could go on and have a good life. And even partnered, I could go on and have a life that had joy and challenges and value and learning a lot of new things. It just took a really long time. So my biggest challenge was to recover and give myself time to recover, and then to go out and to try new things and to see them through. And I'm an anxious person, so I had to start with kind of small steps forward. So definitely taking the time and making small steps to create a new life. That was my biggest lesson. But that if I did that, at least, and gave that sufficient time, that I could have a good life and a different one, but one that was even actually better. And I didn't have to live in the shadow of the past.
Nice. All right. Who's a good audience for this book? Who are target market?
Well, my target market is midlife women, 40 to 70 maybe, who are older, if they'd like, who have been in long relationships, either married or not living together, who lose their partner and find themselves alone at middle age, and it wasn't something they expected. And that can encompass a marriage or a divorce. It's generally women who have spent much of their lives as a we like our risotto extra crispy. We don't like going downtown on the weekends, to suddenly have to thinking in terms of I. That's my audience.
I would imagine that is a really big thought process among women, and maybe they don't even realize it, or even men, when a spouse dies, of trying to get beyond we. I guess I never thought in that kind of way, because I've never experienced death. I've experienced divorce, but of thinking I instead of we. That's a really good point about that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so a person reads your book, they set it down, they only have one thought about your book, what do you hope that one thought would be?
God, she's an awesome writer. No, but I hope what their thought is, hey, she did this. She had her ups and downs. I too can go on to have a great life on my own, despite losing my partner.
Great thought. Debbie Weiss, everybody. Debbie, thank you so much for telling us about your book today.
Thank you so much too, Marianne, for having me on your interview show.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.